And I'd like to start by recognizing a few of our guests, starting with our guest of honor, Professor William Ampofo, the keynote speaker and country director of GIZ, Dr. Dirk Assman. Of course, also our deans, our directors at the university, and country technical lead of the RISA Fund, and representatives from the different pharma and pharma representatives in the room. And then I'll now introduce the chair and our host, the founding director of WACBIP and the committee, the chair of the NVI Vaccine R&D Committee, Professor Gordon Awandare, to take it from here.
Good morning to you all. Our distinguished guest of honor, Nana Professor William Ampofo. He's a chief who chews guns. So be mindful. Your Excellency, the country director for GIZ, Dr. Dirk. I see that my friend has just arrived. Thank you very much, Farhan. Deans and directors present, deputy directors of WACBIP, colleagues, good morning to you all. It's a great honor to welcome all of you to WACBIP this morning and to the University of Ghana, Ghana's premier university, Ghana's hope and glory. I hope you know that this is the #1 university in Ghana. And we set the pace for the others to follow. And in that regard, today, we are hosting this very historic forum where we are bringing stakeholders in the vaccine development space in the country to share ideas and discuss where we are as a country in terms of our capacity to make vaccines and where we need to go. Today here we have the entire pipeline from the basic scientist, which is represented by WACBIP, where you sit. Noguchi people are here, Professor Makusi and others are here. I don't know if KCCR is here. And then all the way to the manufacturing, Farhan is here. And then our development partners, of course, GIZ and others. Our chief himself is here, the National Vaccine Institute, who has been so, strong in pushing for some of the changes that we've been asking for many, many years. Indeed, the establishment of the National Vaccine Institute is a significant step taken by the president of this country to demonstrate the commitment of this country to, make a significant change in our national capacity to make our own vaccines and to be self-reliant. We all remember when COVID struck, the anguish of waiting for crumbs of vaccines from other countries. They would share vaccines with us only after they have taken care of their people, which is logical, right? And they were able to make vaccines in record time because they had existing infrastructure, they had existing facilities, existing technology, and most importantly, existing human resource with the capability to take a new pathogen and turn it around and use their existing structures to make a vaccine within a short period of time. And this is what we have to aspire to be able to do. So we are setting up structures to be able to make vaccines that we routinely use, but also make us stand in readiness to be able to adapt and respond to any emerging pathogens that we may encounter. So ladies and gentlemen, it promises to be an interesting morning. We look forward to the discussions and the engagement, and most importantly, what happens going forward. So at this juncture, it's my honor to introduce my big brother, Nana Chief, CEO of National Vaccine Institute, and overall patriot of Ghana, to come and talk to us. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. It's okay. Good morning, everybody. All protocols observed. As I was coming, I was listening to the radio, and today is Green Ghana Day. So His Excellency the President is being hosted by all the military chiefs, the defense minister, all of them. They are at Bema Camp in the Nicholson Stadium, and they are discussing the planting of trees to combat climate change. So it struck me that one of the places that trees will be planted today is the University of Ghana campus. And I feel very, how do I say? I don't want to use the word welcome, but I feel at home whenever I drive through the campus, because I was in the zoology department. Okay, I did some biochemistry here. And then I lived on campus, and I worked at Noguchi. I still work at Noguchi. I'm still a University of Ghana person. Okay, I'm on some kind of leave. But I was not surprised to hear that the University of Ghana is including a tree planting program. And I think it relates significantly with what we are discussing today. This forum on vaccine research and development, because it is the significant contribution of Noguchi, Wagbik, the University of Ghana, and other institutions to the COVID-19 effort that gave us the platform to convince the president that we needed to have a special program on vaccine research, development, and manufacturing in Ghana. So again, when he was starting his address, he ended with fellow Ghanaians. And remember, during one of his fellow Ghanaian addresses, he then referred to the need to look at vaccine research and development and manufacturing in Ghana. And he set up a presidential committee, and the presidential committee did an assessment and recommended the establishment of the National Vaccine Institute. So we know the politics in Ghana, So one very significant part of this approach was that the Vaccine Institute and the program for vaccine research, development, and manufacturing should be backed by an act of parliament. So when there's a change in government, the National Vaccine Institute and this particular program is set in stone. It will continue. If somebody wants to change it, they'll have to go to parliament and fight and argue and debate, to change this program. But already the fact that we have gathered here this morning shows the significance of this, important milestone. It was not difficult at all when we were discussing with GIZ colleagues to sponsor such a program this morning here at Wagbik. This is because research and development is a cornerstone of vaccine manufacturing. During my days working on influenza, I used to be part of a special global advisory committee at the World Health Organization. And one of the things that we discussed was a global plan for the production of influenza vaccines to ensure that should there be a pandemic, there would be enough manufacturing capacity to be able to produce pandemic vaccines from seasonal vaccines. I did remember that at one of the meetings, there was a manufacturer from India who complained that they were making 1 million doses of influenza vaccines and the Indian government was not buying. Fast forward to COVID-19 pandemic, we were crying for vaccines because there were no vaccines initially, to share with us. So clearly, the need for us to develop our own manufacturing capacity, the need for us to be able to do research and development to feed our manufacturing and to be able to make our own vaccines is a major issue. So we will hear later on today the efforts on some of the wonderful work that is going on at Noguchi, at Wagbik, and also one of the most exciting things are private sector, efforts also in basic sciences that will also enable us to make vaccines. And then also we hear from the regulator. So we have a wonderful program lined up. And I would like to assure you that the National Vaccine Institute will fully support all work that is geared towards the production of candidate vaccines that our private sector can take forward, to actually full-scale and manufacture. When we did the assessment as a presidential committee, we realized that sometimes the impression is given that there is nothing, happening. But actually we realized that there was a lot going on in the research institutions in academia. My own group produces what we call influenza antigens that are circulating and shares with the WHO group that actually influences the decision on the type of influenza vaccine that is made each year. And Ghana was one of the few countries that continued to share influenza antigens during the COVID-19 pandemic, 2019, 2020. So some of the really basic work that we do, in our different programs, does make a significant global effort. You will hear about the malaria antigen discovery and other stuff later on. So we will continue to push government to commit resources. Already some resources have been made available to support research and development. And I think at another forum we'll discuss how that will support, some of you. Those of you looking for jobs, you should be looking out. We'll be advertising soon to pick, those who are suitable to work at the Vaccine Institute. Don't call my phone, just respond to the advert. And if you're suitable, we'll do the assessment and then hopefully we'll make use of your skills. I think the final thing I'd like to mention is the wonderful support from the GIZ and from the European Union. Right from the beginning, they supported the Presidential Committee, and we work very closely with them at the National Vaccine Institute. So as I mentioned, it is very gratifying that we are having this forum with support from the EU through the GIZ, and incidentally, we will be having various programs with the EU and the GIZ going forward. If you've been watching the news, you'd have heard about a big program to support pharmaceutical production and vaccines in Ghana over the next 4 years that the EU is supporting through and also with support from the German government. So much as we will grow our trees, I see you as very important, fundamental, my skills in handling guns and blank bullets.